Welcome, Gunrunner.
Hello everybody, Kieran aka The Laird here, and I have a book review for you on this midweek video. And this one is a guide to ZX Spectrum games 1985 to 1986 by Shaun McClure and Hilary Wells. Now this is a follow-up to the previous book, which was 1982 to 1984, which I've reviewed previously on this channel. So as always, there is a little linky in the top right hand corner of that video if you want to go and see what I thought of the first book before you read about or even view my video review of the second book. And I also want to mention that this is actually the third book I've looked at by Shaun McClure, because I also reviewed his kind of autobiography book as well, which I have to say was an absolutely fantastic read. It's one of the best kind of I suppose call it a gaming book I've ever read, but it talks about his career in the video games industry, but there's quite a lot of personal stuff in there as well about, you know, his personal struggles with depression and finding out he was autistic and all sorts of other things in there as well. And I could relate to a lot of what he was saying in the book, and it really you know, it was really heartwarming and touching in many ways. It's an incredibly good read, and you know, not just the personal stuff, but absolutely fantastic insights into the video game industry as well, and how it works and what it was like in the Wild West days where you were flying from one job to the next and not getting paid, and you know, loads of absolutely brilliant stories in there. So if you're into video games, you're into video games history, I cannot recommend his autobiography enough. It was an absolutely amazing book, and again, you know, there's the link in the top right hand corner, and I suggest you all go and have a look at that, and head over to Amazon and give it a purchase as well, because it's a really interesting book. Oh, and I'll just add as well, if you're put off because you see Spectrum and you think that his books can all be about Spectrum, it's not. His autobiography goes into working with Atari and Ocean Software, and working on, you know, the Jaguar and the Lynx and oh god, the Amiga, the Atari ST, Commodore 64, Amstrad, you know, Game Boy, just about every format you can probably think of he probably worked on at some point. So it goes into all sorts of detail, and even includes him working for some American developers as well, not just UK. So if you're from the US, it's his autobiography is not just a UK perspective, it's both sides of the pond. So yeah, that makes it even more interesting. But anyway, let's get back to the subject at hand, which is the guide to ZX Spectrum games 1985 to 1986. Now, first of all, it's a big old book, like the first one, as you can see. This thing is huge. I mean, massive. So there's a lot in here. It's, for those of you who like pictures, you'll be disappointed, because there is some, but it's not a picture-heavy book. It's because it's in black and white. So you're not going to find any big colour picture spreads here, but there is still plenty of screenshots and stuff like that, as I'll show you. So let's have a little look. So first of all, love and memory of Bob Wakelin, the brilliant ocean artist who sadly passed away a little while ago. There's some great pictures in here as well, which were done by Robin Grenville Evans. For those who don't know, he used to do all the artwork for Automata back in the day. So he did a lot of classic game covers. Really talented artist. He actually did a lovely portrait of my wife at a party I went to, which was fantastic. Really good. And there's some other credits there as well, and you'll see I am amongst the credits. So full disclosure there, before I do this review, I was involved in a small aspect of it. So once we go past the contents, you'll see that there is an introduction by my good self. Really, it's just me talking about those particular years in gaming for me, that the book covers, and a little bit of history about what happened in those years that made them significant for the Spectrum as well, because obviously the book is about the Spectrum. So after that, it goes into the reviews. So you'll see each one's got publisher, programmer, artists where available, screenshot. We've got some of them. We've got box art, like there. That one shows the box art as well as the screenshots. There's some classic movie posters in there as well. You can see like the Ghostbusters. Each game obviously gets reviews, some longer than others, but they're mostly about the same length, kind of about a page and a half. But also, he doesn't give the games ratings, so there's no like out of 10 or anything like that. It's just a case of what he thought of the game. And what makes this different to other books of this type that just review games is that because Shaun worked in the industry for so long, as an artist and designer, and playtester and everything, really, he has a really good insight into certain aspects of how the games work, which is really nice to read. So where there's, for example, with the Spectrum really bad colour clash, he'll talk about whether he thought that was something that could have been avoided or not, or he picks apart little things like that, which I thought was really, really good to see as well. And there's also lots of his own personal stories and anecdotes and stuff like that, like when he remembers buying the game and stuff like that in there as well. And as well as the reviews, there is also some interviews as well, which I haven't shown you. For example, there is a chat with Steve Weatherall, who did Nodes of Yesod, Ark of Yesod, Robin of the Wood, and other games for Odin Computer Graphics. And there's some other interviews in there as well, like there we go, there's another great one. So there's an interview with the amazing Clive Townsend, who did Saboteur. He did others, but everyone will know him for Saboteur, which is a fantastic game, and it was recently resurrected for the Nintendo Switch of all platforms, which was brilliant to see that coming out on the Nintendo Switch. So yeah, so there's another interview. David Jones for the Magic Knight series. There's some really good interviews in here actually. Thanatos, great game that was. We fly a bloody big green dragon, loads of colourful graphics, breathing fire on people. Oh, what a brilliant game that was. Loved that. So yeah, it's there's absolutely loads in here. Oh, great photo there, look, of the Ocean guys when they were doing Batman. But yeah, it's a huge amount of games in here. I'm not actually sure how many there are in total, but there's a hell of a lot. There's an advert for his book there. Video game development, the rock and roll years. That's the one I mentioned earlier. So some advertisements. And his site there, obviously, which I have put a link to in the description as well. What is there else to tell you, really? Not a great deal. There's an advert for Robin Grenville-Jones' brilliant comic Venice Planet, which I highly recommend as well. Go and take a look. And there's an advert for the Switch game. All sorts of little adverts for other things going on in the back. I wonder how many pages do we have in here? So yeah, look, 781. So basically 800 pages. 800 pages in this book. That's a lot of games. I mean, what we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So that's 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 120, 140, 160, 180, 200, 220, 240, 260. So over 250 games reviewed in this book, which is pretty bloody incredible, really. And yeah, that's about it. So I have to say, if you like Spectrum games, then this is definitely a book that you should own, because it's part of a series. We've had the first book. This is the second book. The third book, I believe, is nearly done, so that should be out soon as well. And it's becoming a really great series. I mean, I don't think there's any other series of books out there for the Spectrum that basically covers every single game, which, well, every single major commercial game, I should add. It's not going to type in listings and stuff aren't going to be in there, but yeah, there's nothing else like that. And obviously, when this series is finished, it will cover every single game. And these are a great read for the summer months. I find I took one on holiday with me last year, on these, and read it on the beach while my wife was sunbathing and swimming and stuff, because I get very bored on the beach. So it was a great book to take to the beach. and read. So there we go. Yeah, I highly recommend it. Shaun is a great guy, great personality. I love his very honest style. He doesn't pull any punches, and that's quite refreshing. You know, not coming from a journalism background, but coming from a an actual artist and designer's background within the industry, gives a really different outlook. Yeah, so I hope you enjoyed my review. I highly recommend you buy this book and all of Shaun's others, and I will see you all again for another review or another video even very soon. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.